Hello, I am Reverend Irene Smith, aka Miss Irene from the Young Peeps, and I want to welcome you to Generationally Speaking, 21st Century Bible Study. I am the Bible study teacher, and I want to just invite you each week to join us as we sit at the table with Gen X, Gen Ys, and Gen Zs, and the boomers and those traditionalists as we discuss life victories and life issues, with the Bible being our final answer. Of course, I'm always joined each week by my fabulous, my wonderful, my awesome co-hosts who bring so much to the table. Today, I have Pastor Shamika Latte Oliver, the founder of Women Who Lead Connect. Praise the Lord. And her mantra is building the best you. I'm always excited about having Pastor Shamika because she's dedicated herself. She's dedicated her ministry to helping other women and men find their pathway to whatever it is that God has inspired them to do. Pastor Shamika, how are you?
I am doing absolutely great. Yes.
Not only has she birthed this ministry, but she's getting ready to birth.
Yes.
So we're excited about that. She's a multi-talented young woman. Every time I talk to her, I find out something different. I found out that not only can she preach, but she can sing, she can dance, and man, she's got DIY down pat.
Yes.
And my other wonderful co-host is Minister James Durham. He's not with us today, but we miss him, and he'll be back with us. He's continuing to drive senior citizens to the polls so they can vote. So we're excited about the work that he has, and he is a mentor to young men using the Nehemiah principle. And I know you're saying, Reverend Smith, let's get it on with Temperest. You left us. Come on, come on. So I want to welcome back Temprest Perry to the table as she continues to talk with us about her journey. And of course, she talked to us last week about, being in a dysfunctional home with parents who had their own issues and were still trying to find their way. And yet they loved her. They loved her and they did their best, and maybe their best was as good as they could do under the circumstances that they were operating under. And she talked to us about, being sexually abused by a female cousin, and at the age of 3, and a couple of years that it occurred, and how she kept it because her heart was one that she did not want to get the person who was abusing her in trouble. And I think that we hear that narrative more than not, that the person who has been abused is always trying to protect the abuser. And to hear Pastor Shamika talk about just listening to Temperance, how she could just sense through the Spirit of God that Temperance has that spirit of forgiveness, and that she went to live with her aunt at the age of 6, and stayed with her aunt as she matriculated through high school. And then when her parents did come back into her life at 13, she was excited, as any young person would be, to receive them. She was excited to know that they were back in her life, but yet she still remained with her aunt. So today we're going to ask her to pick up this journey that we're on with her, as she talks to us about graduating from high school and falling in love. All right, Tempest.
Hi.
Hey.
Okay. I'm so sorry. But
It's okay. What's the laughter coming from? What are you feeling? What are you thinking?
because when she was like falling in love, and I was like, Lord.
Yes, the journey of falling in
Falling
love.
in love.
Yes. So I graduated high school in 2004, and I honestly, I had like this little whole rebellion thing going on. I did. I was supposed to go to college in Florida with my best friend at the time, but she's passed. But we were supposed to go to Florida, and we had like a whole plan. And my aunt was like, "Girl, I don't think so." So I didn't get to go to Florida. And I think that just caused me to rebel a little bit. And, I moved out from being with my aunt, and I moved with my dad. And that was actually in November. I remember that trip, going back to Wichita Falls with him to his little 1-bedroom apartment. He was no longer, on drugs. He had been drug free for quite some time. He was doing really good in church. He was the deacon. He's still doing awesome. So
All right now.
very proud of him. But I moved down there with him, and started hanging out with the wrong people. And that's eventually where I met my oldest daughter dad, and thought I was just in love. I mean, you couldn't tell me anything about him. I could be so honest. You couldn't tell me anything about him. I just thought I was in love and knew it all. And I did not. I didn't at all. I had so much to learn. And I'm telling you, you bump your head, you bump it hard. And that's how it was with him. So
What made you trust him like that? Was it something that you were looking for, especially from transitioning from your childhood experiences, your parents actually leaving, you living with your aunt? Were you looking for just this one person that can just really give you everything maybe that you missed or you felt you missed? And was there a place of wanting to feel complete at this time?
I think that when I moved with my dad, I thought it would be different. I thought we would have like this daddy-daughter bond that would be out of this world, and it was nothing like that. So he worked 2 jobs. So his mornings started very early, like at 5, and they ended at 11. And he would make it home about 11:15, 11:30, and he would be so tired he'd eat and go to bed. And it was just like kind of like crushing for me, because I thought it would be something different. I thought, hey, this is our time to, get to know one another even better, establish a bond. But it didn't happen like that. So I think I was looking for that daddy love, love from my dad. And I think I just, seeked it somewhere else. And that just turned out to be, a life lesson.
So at 18, you meet this young man,
Mm-hmm.
and then did you eventually move in with him?
Yes. So
So you know prior to
I
moving in,
oh, I'm
go ahead.
sorry.
Mhm.
So I actually moved in with him and his mom. My dad was very upset, because in our community that's shacking, and we
Mhm.
do not do that, and that is not how we're supposed to be doing it. So he was very upset and disappointed, but I still did what I wanted to do, because like I said, I thought I was in love. And so I actually stayed with his mom and his two younger brothers. And I became pregnant. I found out I was pregnant, and we moved into an apartment on our own.
So
um,
before we go any further, when you moved in with him, did his mom have anything to say? Was she happy about you moving into the house with her and cohabitating with her son in the house? I mean,
no,
she
she
had
did
no
not.
problems with it.
Her mom did. Her mom, which would be his grandma, she had the issue. What are y'all doing? Why is this girl underneath this roof with, so that was a big issue for the grandma, but it wasn't an issue with the mom. I'm not sure why. She kind of just gravitated to me. Like, she really just treated me like I was her biological child. Um, even though, some people look at that as, oh, I would never let my, son move someone in. But she really took me under her wing. And we really had that mother-daughter connection. And so.
So at 18 and in love, now in hindsight, when you first met your ex,
Mhm.
were there any signs that maybe when you first met him that were there that you just sort of said, "Oh, it'll be okay"?
Yes, he was very possessive.
Mm-hmm.
Um, not really want me to hang with people or go with my cousins anymore, or why do you have to wear that, and um, why you didn't call me, things that I don't think I even knew were signs of, controlling behavior at the time. I didn't realize that. I was just like, oh, he's so into me. He loved me. Look at him. He just, he's just so, he's so worried about me. He doesn't want me, and really, like you said earlier, he was grooming me.
So,
Um,
what did your father have anything to say with, I know your father was upset about you moving in,
mhm.
and then even after you moved in and your father he had opportunity to meet your ex, did he have anything to say, what he or he just knew that right then and there, just I gotta just let her go.
I think it was kind of like I gotta just let her go. But like I said, he worked so much that, and if he wasn't working on the weekends, it was church. So I think it was more, he didn't agree with it, but I also think it was more, I didn't get to have her as a child or be a part of her life. So I don't want to push her away. So I think he didn't want to push me away by what he probably thought was overstepping his boundaries, which would not have been, because he's my dad, of course, he's my parent, he was able to speak freely, but he did not. Yeah, so he speaks very freely now. Anything that he's gonna let me know. But at the time, no, he did not voice his opinion. He might have said a few things here and there, but no, he wasn't like that at all.
And I think before we continue to go forth, before you say something, Reverend Smith, just take a little pause. Your mic is going in and out, and so I didn't want that to be on the recording. Just kind of say something before you ask your next question, so I can hear it, because
Is that me?
yeah, it was going way in. Did you hear too, Temperance? It was kind of like kind of
I
going, yeah.
think what happened, I put papers on my computer screen. Every time I do
Oh,
that, it happens.
okay. It sounds a little better now because it
Yeah,
was.
I took the papers up.
Oh, okay. Okay, so we'll cut that part out, but
Okay. So, Temperance, so you all now you are 18. You're at his mom's house. You find out that you're pregnant. I know you are very excited about being pregnant with the man that you love, and um, is he excited as well about having this baby?
Yes, he was excited.
So when did you all? How long was it before you all moved out of his mom's house and got your own place?
It was probably, um, I'll say about 2-3 months that we moved into our own place, and he was working. So he was actually, I had graduated, but he was still in high school. So he actually went to work. He was working. I stayed at the apartment. I had a car that my dad had actually gotten for me. Um, and, my dad actually would help take him to work, because in the beginning he saw that he was trying. I think that's what it was. We didn't, I think he just had both of, I think he just had me and my dad fooled. because my dad, I think I get a lot of my qualities from my dad. We, try to see the best in someone before we just,
So
it kind of,
comes, and then the baby comes, and you all are okay. You're a stay-at-home mom.
it was
No.
rocky. It was very rocky. He actually got into some trouble. He got in trouble, and he actually had to go to the detention center. And I decided, I don't want to, I need help with the baby. So I called my aunt, you know, and I went to go stay with her for probably about 2 weeks while I was pregnant. And I got a call saying he was detained and things of that nature. And I just automatically freak out. And I'm like, oh my goodness, I got to go be there. I got to support him. I got to go be there for him. And so I moved back, and I actually moved back with his mom while I was pregnant.
So you all were no longer in your own apartment at this point.
No, no longer in our own apartment.
So he was detained. So he comes out, and then what happens to you all? I mean, when does the abuse, the abuse really?
We were 3 years into our relationship
Mhm.
before the abuse started. So 3 years into our relationship, you fast forward, my oldest daughter was 2 at the time. We had our own house. He was working. He actually got laid off. So I decided, hey, I'll go to work. So I started working. And that's when the abuse came, because I started speaking up. Like, things that I would probably let slide at the time, I stopped letting slide, because I felt like I feel, I was taught that a man is a provider, and I understand we fall on hard times, and I gave him that time and that opportunity to get it together, and he just didn't seem to want to get it together, and not only for me, but not even for our daughter at the time. So it was frustrating. I would come home, there would be we stay in a 1-bedroom house, and there would be a house full of guys there, and I would just be so irritated, and the house would be full of smoke, and I would just be over it, because I'm like, I'm out working, I get home, I'm tired, I don't want to deal with that. So I would start speaking up, and he actually, one guy that he would hang out with, started talking about how he used to whoop his woman and do all these things. And I'm like, well, he can't come over here. We don't need them type of, that at the time I was like, we don't need those type of vibes in the house, filling your head up with stupidity is how I took it. Like, and like I told my ex, we are not to be compared, and nothing against anyone, the woman that he was dating was a stripper. Here I am going to work, and there's nothing, but it was 2 different scenarios for him to try to put his input on anything about putting his hands on anyone, which, but my ex listened to all of those things, and you know as time progressed, I think honestly, looking back, I think he was battling with stuff of his own, and we don't realize it, because as you know him being we were both kids, so with him being a child, I'm going to say a child, because we were both kids and we didn't know anything. We were just trying to make this work. um, I think he battled with his own issues, and he didn't express himself or how he felt. So I believe all that started to pour out on him, and he started taking it out on me. I think it started to be resentment to me, because I feel like he felt like he was missing out on his years of football games, hanging out with his friends, but yet he's having to go to work and help with me and bills and a baby. And I think he just started to resent me. And I think that's where the abuse started to come in.
Did he physically abuse you?
Oh yeah, he physically abused me.
So the
Um,
first time he hit you, what do
oh,
you think?
first time he hit me, I actually found out he was cheating on me. Um, and I confronted him about it. And I was shocked when he hit me. Shock instantly turned into fight mode. And before him, I was not a fighter. I'm a lover. I want to love. Everything is hugs and kisses and
Mhm.
ooh, and he actually turned me more into a fighter. So I was actually shocked because I couldn't believe that he would do me like that. Um, I thought we were in love. I thought he loved me. So I never would have thought he would have put his hands on me. But like I said, shock instantly turned into fight. So he hit me, and I proceeded to hit him back. hit him back. So
So, but at the end of the day, you all have this. I mean, it's physical.
hmm
It's
yes,
physical. So, I think then we go back to something that Pastor Shamika said is that forgiveness, that you
yeah,
forgave him.
I forgave him over and over because I felt like I just felt like maybe I could change him. If I love him hard enough, maybe I could change him. But that wasn't the case.
So, I mean, you know, one fight, okay,
Mhm.
one hit, okay, but after, you know, 6 months or a year, and he's hitting me now more than ever.
Mhm.
What do you go to work and say when people obviously see that you're distraught?
I didn't work.
You didn't
He,
work.
he yes, I did not work. He turned to the streets, and I was just like, I'm gonna be here for him, regardless, even though I didn't agree with his choices. Um, but with me, with everything that I went through, I didn't want my kids to go to daycare. So that was
Why?
something that we actually agreed.
Why?
Well, I know when I was with my aunt, I remember a baby crying, and I was walking by, and I'll never forget that the daycare worker was pinching the baby because she couldn't get the baby to be quiet. And I thought to myself, if I have kids, they're not going to the daycare, you know. Um, so that's why. And then with me having to have dealt with sexual abuse, I just didn't trust people
Hmm.
with my children. I wanted to make sure I was there for them all the time with anything that they needed because, they're young at the time. They couldn't tell me, oh, somebody did this or someone touched me. So therefore, I felt like I had to be their protector.
So with your husband, I mean, with your ex, I mean, there's a pattern. So you're at home all day. He's, out in the street doing his thing. So when he comes home, what are your expectations? Did you know, okay, if I say this, it's gonna go into something else. If I do this, so what was it like for you day in and day out, walking on eggshells?
It was, yeah, I was going to say it was definitely walking on eggshells because you never knew his temperament and you never knew his mood. It would go from high to low. Um, it was just, you just never knew. So sometimes I would have to learn how to approach him, learn how to say certain things to him, talk to him in a certain way. Um, because I knew he could get upset easily. And sometimes it would be over the smallest thing, like, oh, we have a bill due. Do you want to go ahead and pay it now? That could easily turn into an altercation because maybe he felt I was pressuring him about paying a bill, or, it just depended on the situation. But it was definitely walking on eggshells and having to, I couldn't be me. I
Hmm.
couldn't be me. That's all it boiled down to. I couldn't be me. I had to be someone different. And it's like he wanted someone different. So I tried to be that person, and it wouldn't always go that way. Um, I'm really I'm goofy. I like to laugh. And I couldn't be that. He didn't like that, you know. He would always say, "You're always being immature or silly," or, you know, and that was just me, bubbly, happy, you know, but I had to change that. I suppressed it and I became someone different, you know, for him.
Yeah.
What did Pastor Shamika, did you have a question?
I was just wondering what made you fight, because you didn't fight for yourself at first, and
No.
then the first time he comes at you, out of all your life, you're like, I'm gonna fight back. Did you know that's, to me, that's courageous, right? After everything you've been through, and this person that you love, this person who you decided was going to be this father figure, you know, and this man to you, but the first time he hit you, what happened on the inside of you that made you want to fight
My feelings
back?
my feelings were hurt, and all I could think, I still remember it to this day, is how dare you do me like that when I have been here. I have supported you. I have gone through things that I haven't even had to go through before, you know, for you. I've been, you know, just being there for someone, changing your whole life around for someone, for them to basically dog you out. And that to me was like, how dare you?
Do
Like,
you
how
feel
dare
like
you?
that was your punch back at everything in that moment, for everything that everybody did to you? Because
I,
it sounds like that, like, I'm
it,
gonna.
it was, because when I tell you some furniture was moved around in that place, it really was. And that's not even my character, but he brought that out of me. Um and I'll never forget, you know, his face was messed up, and, you know, he was telling everyone he got into a fight at the gas station. Um, and, you know, but yeah, I was just hurt. Like, I couldn't believe it. Like, I've been here, I've sacrificed, I've lived in a motel with you, I've slept in my car for you, you know, things that I didn't have to do, for you to treat me like that, you know, for you to do me like that, when you know there's nothing that I wouldn't do for you. So that hurt me. And that's where the fight came in. Like, you will not, you know, do me like this.
So what was your awakening that said, I need to get out of this relationship?
It was hard to get out. That's why I stayed so long. A part of me loved him, but a part of me felt like I couldn't get out of it. I couldn't. I reached out. I would say certain things around family members.
We're going to stop right there for right now. We're going to pick up next week, because somebody is listening in, and you need to hear Temprest's journey. You need to hear her finding the strength of the Lord Jesus Christ, the Holy Ghost inside of her, to stand up and to speak out and to realize that her life has value.